Ever wondered what rules Amish church elders enforce behind closed doors that would shock outsiders? These hidden enforcement practices demonstrate authority levels unimaginable in modern democratic societies. Rule 1: Confession requirements. Modern legal systems provide privacy protections and the right against self-incrimination during legal proceedings. Amish elders require mandatory public confession of wrongdoing before the entire community, forcing individuals to admit mistakes, sins, or rule violations in front of neighbors, friends, and family members. These confessions occur during church services where the person must stand before everyone and detail their failures, creating public humiliation as part of the punishment and restoration process. Rule 2: Property control. Contemporary property ownership includes individual rights to buy, sell, and transfer assets without external approval or interference from religious authorities. Amish elders maintain authority over major property decisions, including land purchases, inheritance distributions, and property transfers within the community. Members cannot buy farms, sell property, or make significant real estate decisions without elder consultation and approval. This control extends to preventing certain purchases that might be considered too worldly or create inequality within the community structure. Rule 3: Neighbor surveillance. Modern societies value privacy and discourage unauthorized surveillance of neighbors' private lives and personal activities. Amish communities operate informal surveillance systems where members are expected to monitor and report neighbors' behavior violations to church leadership. This creates networks where community members watch for rule infractions, inappropriate technology use, or worldly behavior among their neighbors. The reporting system maintains community standards but eliminates privacy expectations that outsiders consider fundamental rights. Members who fail to report observed violations may face discipline themselves for enabling wrongdoing through silence and non-compliance with community oversight responsibilities. Rule 4: Scripture interpretation. Contemporary Christian denominations encourage personal Bible study, individual interpretation of Scripture, and democratic discussion of religious meanings through study groups and theological education. Protestant traditions especially emphasize the priesthood of all believers and individual access to divine truth. Amish communities restrict biblical interpretation exclusively to ordained church leaders, preventing individual members from explaining scripture meanings or offering alternative theological perspectives. Only bishops and ministers can provide authoritative interpretations of biblical passages, religious doctrine, or spiritual guidance. Members cannot question these interpretations, offer different viewpoints, or engage in theological discussions that might challenge official church positions. This creates religious authority that controls not just behavior, but also thought and spiritual understanding. The restriction extends to preventing members from reading certain religious materials, attending Bible studies led by non-Amish teachers, or accessing theological resources that might provide alternative interpretations of Christian doctrine and biblical teachings. Rule 5: Punishment severity. Modern legal systems operate under principles of proportional justice, consistent sentencing guidelines, and equal treatment under law, regardless of personal relationships or social status. Appeals, processes, and legal representation protect individual rights during punishment proceedings. Amish elder authority includes discretionary punishment that varies based on personal relationships, family status, community standing, and elder judgment, rather than consistent application of predetermined consequences for specific violations. The same rule infraction might result in mild correction for one person while triggering severe punishment, including shunning for another. Factors influencing punishment severity include family reputation, previous violations, attitude during confession, and perceived threat to community stability. Elders may show leniency towards certain families while being harsh with others who have less community standing or influence. No appeals process exists to challenge elder decisions or request consistent application of community standards. Members must accept whatever punishment elders determine appropriate, regardless of fairness compared to previous similar cases or treatment of other community members. This discretionary authority creates uncertainty about consequences while maintaining elder control through unpredictable enforcement of community rules and behavioral expectations. Rule 6. Family intervention. Modern child welfare systems require legal proceedings, evidence of abuse or neglect, and court orders before authorities can separate families or remove children from parental custody. Legal protections exist to preserve family unity while protecting children's welfare through established procedures. Amish elders possess authority to intervene in family relationships, separate married couples, and remove children from homes when they judge family situations, threaten community values, or spiritual welfare. This authority operates without legal oversight or external review. Elders can require married couples to live separately if their relationship creates community problems, mandate that children live with relatives if parents are deemed spiritually unfit, or prevent families from interacting if their influence is considered harmful to community standards. These interventions occur through community pressure and religious authority rather than legal processes, making resistance difficult without facing complete social isolation. Families have no legal recourse or appeals process to challenge elder decisions about their living arrangements. The authority extends to preventing certain family members from attending community events, restricting grandparent access to grandchildren, or requiring supervision during family interactions that elders consider potentially problematic for maintaining community harmony and spiritual discipline. Rule 7. Communication monitoring. Contemporary privacy rights protect personal correspondence, phone conversations, and electronic communications from unauthorized monitoring or interference by religious or community authorities. Legal warrants are required for government surveillance of private communications. Amish elders monitor and control community members' correspondence with outside individuals, family members who have left the community, and anyone considered potentially harmful to community values. This includes reading letters, listening to phone conversations, and controlling access to communication methods. Letters to and from excommunicated family members may be intercepted, read, or destroyed to prevent ongoing relationships that violate shunning practices. Phone calls are monitored when community phones are used for conversations with outside individuals who might provide worldly influence. Communication with former Amish individuals receives particular scrutiny, as these relationships might encourage current members to question community values or consider leaving the traditional lifestyle. Elders may prohibit specific correspondences or require supervision during phone conversations. Business communications face less restriction, but personal letters discussing community problems, expressing doubts about Amish life, or maintaining relationships with shunned individuals can result in communication privileges being revoked entirely. Members who attempt to communicate secretly or use unauthorized methods face discipline for deception and violation of community transparency expectations that prioritize collective welfare over individual privacy rights. Rule 8. Skill restrictions. Modern societies encourage individual talent development, educational advancement, and skill building that enhances personal capabilities and economic opportunities. Exceptional abilities are typically celebrated and supported through specialized training programs and advanced education opportunities. Amish elders actively suppress individual talents or skills that might create pride, individual prominence, or distinctions that threaten community equality and collective identity. Members showing exceptional artistic ability, musical talent, intellectual capability, or leadership skills face restrictions designed to prevent individual recognition. Artists may be prohibited from creating works that draw attention to their abilities or selling crafts that might create individual recognition beyond community boundaries. Musicians with exceptional talent cannot perform publicly or develop their skills beyond what serves community worship needs. Intellectual abilities that might lead to questioning community practices, seeking higher education, or developing expertise that challenges elder authority face particular restriction. Members cannot pursue advanced learning in areas that might provide alternative perspectives on religion, science, or social organization. Leadership abilities in young people are carefully controlled to prevent challenges to established authority structures. Natural leaders may be assigned humble tasks or prevented from organizing community activities that might build personal followings. The skill restriction system maintains community equality while preventing individual achievements that might inspire others to seek recognition, education, or opportunities beyond traditional Amish lifestyle boundaries. This creates uniformity but limits human potential and individual expression that contemporary society values and encourages. Rule 9. Memory erasure. Modern therapeutic approaches to community conflicts include mediation, counseling, and conflict resolution processes that acknowledge past problems while working toward healing and reconciliation. Traumatic events are processed rather than ignored, with professional support helping individuals and communities recover from difficult experiences. Amish elder authority includes requirements that community members forget past conflicts, traumatic events, or controversial incidents that might threaten current community stability or elder reputation. This enforced forgetting prevents discussion, processing, or acknowledgement of problems that have affected community members. Victims of abuse, injustice, or elder misconduct may be required to act as if these events never occurred, preventing healing processes and accountability for harmful behavior. Speaking about past problems can result in discipline for causing division or living in the past, rather than accepting current community harmony. Historical conflicts between families, leadership disputes, or controversial elder decisions become subjects that cannot be mentioned, discussed, or referenced in any context. Community members must pretend these events never happened, even when their effects continue impacting relationships and community dynamics. The memory erasure requirement prevents learning from past mistakes, accountability for leadership failures, or healing processes that might strengthen community resilience. Instead, problems get buried rather than resolved, creating ongoing tension beneath surface harmony. Members who remember and mention forgotten events face punishment for disrupting community peace, even when their memories involve personal trauma or injustice that has never been properly addressed or resolved through healthy conflict resolution processes. This enforced amnesia maintains elder authority while preventing the historical awareness that might inform better decision-making or accountability for past leadership failures. Rule 10. Sole authority. Contemporary Christian theology emphasizes direct relationship between individuals and God, with salvation through faith rather than through religious intermediaries or institutional control. Most denominations reject claims that human leaders control spiritual salvation or eternal destinies. Amish elders claim authority over members' spiritual salvation and eternal destinies, suggesting that disobedience to community rules and elder authority threatens not just social standing, but also eternal salvation and relationship with God. This spiritual authority extends beyond earthly community membership to claims about heavenly consequences. Members are taught that leaving the Amish community, violating community standards, or questioning elder authority endangers their souls and threatens their eternal salvation. This creates spiritual fear that makes resistance to community rules equivalent to rejecting God and choosing damnation. The sole authority extends to claims that only Amish lifestyle provides authentic Christian living and salvation, making departure from the community equivalent to abandoning faith entirely. Members cannot maintain Christian identity while rejecting Amish cultural practices and community authority. Elders present themselves as essential intermediaries between community members and God, suggesting that spiritual relationship requires their approval and guidance rather than direct individual connection to divine grace and salvation. This spiritual authority creates psychological control that extends beyond social pressure to existential fear about eternal consequences for resisting community expectations. Members cannot simply leave for better opportunities elsewhere. They must choose between community membership and spiritual salvation. The sole authority claim makes elder control absolute by linking obedience to religious leadership with fundamental spiritual welfare and eternal destiny. Questioning elder decisions becomes equivalent to questioning God, while community rules receive divine authority that makes resistance spiritually dangerous. This spiritual manipulation creates dependency that prevents members from evaluating community practices objectively or considering whether alternative Christian communities might provide healthier spiritual environments and more authentic religious experience.